Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Zodiac Bandit, and we are now more than halfway through the Age of Umbra, and it's really got me thinking about which characters are my favorites and for what reasons. So today I'm going to be ranking the characters in the Age of Umbra, or as I like to call the team, the Enduring, because that's what people in the Age of Umbra are called, and there's no other name for them quite yet, so that's what I roll with. If you don't want to roll with it, that's fine, but today we're ranking the characters in the Age of Umbra, specifically the PCs, just to make that clear. Before we get started, I do want to just say two things. One, spoilers for the Age of Umbra, so if you aren't caught up, I recommend getting caught up. And the other one is, I like all of these characters, and unfortunately I have to put someone in last. So if this is your favorite character who's in last, sorry, but this is my list, so realistically, I can't be wrong. Because it's my list, not yours. And I want to hear what your lists are down below, but this is my list. So sorry if your favorite character is at the bottom. At number 7, I have Brixton. Now, I really do like this character. I think the concept of a Pyre Keeper is really cool, and I think the idea of her being like super dedicated to the flame is really awesome, and like that is what is driving her towards this mission of getting the branch back. That being said, I do think there's a bit of confusion with this character, because on one hand, she's like super honor bound, super into history, and then on the other hand, she's like driven mad by it almost, to the point where she's like a weird devotee to like the gods, almost cult-like, if you will. She's like religiously following them like a true zealot, and like wanting to do everything to honor them and to push forward for them, which is a little weird, because the idea of the Firekeeper to me is to preserve the fire for the people in the modern day, but then she's like super dedicated to the gods of the old, right? Gods who left them behind, seemingly, as far as they're all aware. And so the idea of a Pyre Keeper or a Firekeeper wanting to honor the gods who have now put them in this position feels a little strange, and maybe the two of them aren't as like distant as I perceive them to be, but it just feels a little weird how she's super dedicated to them. And then like her split dedication just doesn't make sense to me, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Her dedication of the pyre and the fire itself, and then the gods, just feels like they're kind of clashing, especially with the ideals of the current Age of Umbra versus the old age of this world. So it just seems a little off to me, but I overall like this character a lot. I like the way that she's protective of everybody in the party, and that she truly wears the like I am your shield sort of thing. Like every time she's in combat, she will block damage for whoever is close by if it's available to her, which is dope. And I think she's like saved the lives of the party a million times over and over again. I just find that little like weird, like there's a weird split in the character for me, where she's sort of insane about the gods and then insane about like being a Firekeeper wanting to protect the flames. It just, there's a weird disconnect there, and I don't know what it is for me. Overall, like the character, that one aspect is just a little odd to me. At number 6, I have August. I like almost everything about this character. There is just one massive flaw that I will get to at the end. I like this character with all of his relationships with like all the characters surrounding him. He seems to have like a very good camaraderie like relationship with Idol, like that seems to have been born before this game started, which is really cool and really unique. I like the way that he interacted with Erin, which is really cool. He was very supportive of her, but also aware of her like shortcomings and the fact that she's going to push herself too far before horrible things happen to her. And I like that everything surrounding like the mother character, and then the catacombs and the Screaming Forest. I like how he made the Screaming Forest seem like this true, absolute, hellish nightmare of a location to go into. Just the way that August reacted to it and all of that, and the way that he was like scared to go in was really cool. But then at the same time, on the other like the same sort of like aspect of the character, he's not scared of like anywhere else. It was just the Screaming Forest, which really made that location seem really terrifying. Like he was the one leading the way on the sunken ramparts, right? In the dark, he was the one guiding the party, which is really cool. But like in this terrifying place at night, getting chased by creatures, he didn't care about that. The Screaming Forest, his reactions to all the Screaming Forest stuff made that location seem really cool and really scary. So like a very well done by Taliesin first of all for that, but then really just really cool character building for that as well, which is really dope. On top of that, I'm a big fan of his relationship with Misty. The idea of him being like super dedicated to this statue with a spirit, like an old spirit inside of it, is really cool. And the idea that he now wants to, after everything's been wrapped up with Mother, or the current leader of the catacombs in the Screaming Forest, he wants to go back to her temple at some point and sort of free it from the hive, which is really cool. I like everything surrounding this character as far as the world building he's done, the character growth. Well, the character growth, I will say, is a little there's not much character growth, or more so just the character building that has happened, like showing us the character of August that has happened. Because I don't think the character has changed all that much from, the events of the beginning to the events now, but I do think he has shown a lot of who he is just in general, which I think is really cool. The only thing that holds August back from being higher up on this list for me is he is a spider with a moth on his back, and I fucking hate spiders, and I fucking hate moths. I'm not joking. This is a crippling hatred I have of these creatures. My 2 least favorite bugs of all time. And every time I imagine August doing something really cool, I can only picture a spider with a fucking moth on its back, and it is cripplingly terrifying for me. At number 5, I have Misty. Misty is going to be the character where we learn about, like, the old world through, right? She's super fun. I love the idea of a clank in this world being, like, wooden statues or stone statues, marble statues, whatever Matt was describing them as, that have spirits that have, like, come from the old days or have been, like, traveling since the old days and then implanted into these statues. And I love that idea, and I love the image that she presents of, like, this angelic being who's got, like, a bunch of holes in her who can, like, play music through the holes with, like, using wind. I think that stuff is really, really cool. And I really like that we're slowly being drip-fed ideas that the statue itself that she is has memories, and then, like, the spirit that she has in her, or that she is, also has its own unique memories as well. The idea that we don't know where the memories that she's getting flashbacks of are coming from is really cool, and honestly a really unique way to deal with, like, the whole amnesia trope that a lot of characters end up having, like at the beginning of a campaign, I don't know who I was. This is a very unique way to go about it, and I really enjoy it. I think it's a really cool aspect, and the fact that, like, as we're going to be moving through the Amber Reach, we're going to learn more about her, and I think that's really unique and really cool for us to see this character who has a genuine reason to not remember who they were because they were dead and lost all their memories, and now their memories are mixing with someone else, is super cool in my opinion. And that the fact that we're going to be moving through a location that she was deeply connected to, maybe within her spirit or maybe within the statue itself, that is badass and super fun. Also, it is another connection to the gods, and we're sort of seeing, like, the way people react to her character is really cool. The idea that an entire, like, city guard is just staring her down specifically, not 2 people who claimed to be there before and caused problems in Adelia and Scrieve. No, the statue, who they've had a bad relationship in the past with other ones, that's the thing drawing all of their attention, which I think is really cool and really interesting. And I just like the idea of this creature or this being who is supposed to be, like, an angelic reference is so hated. The idea that people just look at this and are filled with either fear or absolute admiration in, like, a weird way. Like, people look at it and go, oh, I'm suddenly much safer than I was before. Or on the flip side, I hate this thing because it represents something bad to me. I love that aspect of Misty. I can't wait to learn more about her, which is why she's sort of lower on the list. We don't know that much about her as it is right now, and neither does she. So maybe if I were to ever do this again in the future, which I doubt, and I honestly doubt her position is going to change all that much, because the other characters are just so strong, I think she could grow even bigger in my eyes as, like, a cool character, but I don't think she's going to move positions at all. At number 4, I have Scrieve. Scrieve is awesome. I love everything sort of surrounding this character, about how on the outside he looks like this horrifying individual who's got, like, a ring moving through his body, and he's just covered in, like, leather wraps with metal claws on him and all that stuff. I would imagine him almost like a Final Fantasy character meets, like, the Valhalla boys from the Mad Max Fury Road movie. I don't think that's what they're called, but that's what I call them. But you know what I'm saying? I feel like with all the leather and, like, the belts almost, he just feels like a Final Fantasy character mixed with a Valhalla boy, like I said before. I love his concept as an idea, and I love the way that Liam is role-playing, how, like, he seems to enjoy pain almost, but my favorite aspect of this character is everyone else on the outside looks at him as this creepy individual who would probably rip you to shreds, and then the way he deals with Adelia is just so gentle and sweet. It is a awesome contrast within the character, and I like that a lot. The idea of this, first of all, I'm a big fan of these stories lately that people are telling of, like, the like, single dad and, like, the young child trope. I don't know what it is. I'm really enjoying it so far. Like, Kratos and Atreus is one of my, like those games are awesome. The Mandalorian, I haven't seen The Last of Us yet, but I'm going to, and I haven't played those games yet, but I'm going to, and I just know I'll enjoy their story together like that. So realistically, I'm a big fan of those type of stories, and I'm getting that with Scrieve and Adelia, and I fucking love every second of it. That being said, we're also getting some unique stuff from him in his backstory that I also really enjoy about like the Cinnabar Quarter. Now, we haven't delved into it too far, but it seems like he is part of like, he was a former member of the Damask Queens, which just sounds like Mad Max stuff in general because they're moving around the Cinnabar Quarter and like terrorizing it, which just feels like the Horsemen of the Apocalypse from those movies, which is really cool, and I enjoy those aspects too. And he's like, it seems like he's a former member of that. So what I really like about this is, again, the Mad Max relationship, but the fact that he left that and is now taking care of this child is really cool to me. I just really do like everything surrounding this character. Is a lot of fun. The role play is dope. The way he interacts with Adelia and the way he's sort of growing to sort of interact with the rest of the party is also really cool. But the lore coming from him is also going to be really fun, and I'm very excited for it. At number 3, I have Idol, which I think is a rather unique character in this world because as of right now, we don't know much about the character's past, which I think is unique for other people. And I know it sounds a little weird when I talk about him and Misty at the same time, because Misty, we know virtually nothing, but we're learning stuff about her past. Idol feels like a character who's not going to be learnt about at all, because in traditional Travis fashion, his characters like to move forward and not dwell on the past. However, a unique aspect to the Idol character is his powers are directly linked to the gods of old and the past. So what's interesting about this character is he wants to move forward, but everyone else who sort of looks at him sees a conduit of old times, of the past, which I think is very unique. I like that he's trying to push forward and figure things out, and he wants to be a part of change in the world. He wants to be a part of discovering things, which I think is really cool. The character is all about moving himself and the world forward, but every other character who interacts with him and sees his divine gift and power wants to hold him back in the past and say, no, you're not part of this yet. We need to figure out what you are. Specifically, Ghost Hook. Ghost Hook's interaction with him before they headed out on their mission was really cool to me because it showed how many people are going to look at him and be like, you're a bad thing. You could be really bad or you could be good, but there's more likely that you're going to be a bad thing. And if you don't show me you're going to be one of the few good things, you're going to die. I thought that was a really cool and really interesting way to show how people interact with divine powers like Idol has. And I think it's really cool how he's sort of this character for Travis who wants to move forward like every other character he has is being so truly held back by the past. And I just think that's really unique and really cool. On top of all that, Idol seems to be a character who immediately leaves a good impression on most people, which is why the contrast of, him being seen in a bad light by people who don't like divinity is really interesting. I mean, think about it. Aaron thought up very highly of the character. Garrick thought very highly of the character. Truvo seems to think very highly of the character. Even Ghost Hook wants to think very highly of him. So I just love the contrast of this character, of wanting to move forward, but being truly held back by the things that are going to allow you to move forward. I just think that makes him such a unique and interesting character. At number 2, I have Snick. I have really changed my opinion on this character. Initially, when Age of Umbra was starting, I thought this character was mildly ridiculous. This chicken shit character who was able to somehow maneuver around the entire Halcyon domain. That felt super weird and at contrast with the rest of the world that was the Age of Umbra. It just felt super weird for this character to exist. However, as they've moved forward and as they've encountered every major boss so far, and he's been the one to kill them all. He is literally killing everything. He killed everything. Without him, they're dead. He has been this true guide in this world. And it's funny how his chicken shit persona is falling away with each moment. Every time something happens, he'll think of, no, that happened in the past. I'm going to make sure it doesn't happen again. Specifically about Whomper and how he lost his little elephant buddy, and now he doesn't want to lose the rest of his friends. I love that shit. And I think it's so cool that this truly chicken shit character who was presented to us as a chicken shit has been like truly the bravest character the entire time. The one to be able to move between cities and towns and sacred pyres and dangerous locations to make sure that people get things that make them feel comfortable in their lives in this shithole of a time that is the Age of Umbra is really powerful stuff, and just the truest sign of bravery. To put all of that weight on yourself to make sure that other people feel slightly more comfortable in this world is badass. So my initial thought of the character was weird that this chicken shit is able to move around the world, but as we see more and more of the story, we see that this guy has never been a chicken shit. He just doesn't want bad things to happen to himself and others, which is just super fun and super interesting. Also, I just really like his design as a whole. Like, I like all these characters' designs, but there's something so interesting about a like goat character who's able to like run really fast and is able to move around the battlefield without any issues, who has visible like battle damage on him. He's one of the handful of characters who like actually has battle damage. Like, I'm pretty sure Idol has scars on him, but no one else has this sort of issue where they have battle damage on them. He's missing a horn, and we've never heard the story of how he loses that horn. So it's really cool to me that there is this like visual storytelling of the character that shows more than what he's actually telling us audibly, right? He tells us he's a chicken shit, but he's lost a horn. He's been through some shit. He's actually had to deal with stuff, and we're never going to learn about that. Or at least I don't think we're going to learn about that. But it's just really cool that this character who wants to portray himself as like the least brave member of the group is the bravery of the group. And Brixton's been saying it all along, but to actually have it be shown to us is just really cool. And that leaves an obvious number one, which is Adelia. I fucking love this character. There's just so much fun about this character. The way that she acts, the way that she like talks, the way that she just does everything in the story, her interactions with Scrieve. I love it when they're like, oh, it's playtime, and the two of them do a little dance. Like, it's just so much fun. I enjoy this character so much. Everything she does, and the way Laura is role-playing her is perfect. Liam and Laura are killing it with the roleplay. I normally think Marisha's pretty top tier in roleplay, and people will argue with me to death about that. But Liam and Laura are fucking killing the roleplay here. It is so good. Not to mention, every time Adelia says something, I actually laugh out loud. Like, I'm watching Critical Role at 1 in the morning, and I'm just dying laughing because of something she said. One of my favorite lines that she said so far is she's going to use her power, or her experience of pure imagination. They asked her what that meant, and Laura's like, it's the power of disassociating. And I fucking died laughing at that. It is one of my all-time favorite mini-series moments because it is just so good. It is so perfectly timed, so well done, and I love the way like when she interacts with like enemies on the screen, she's like, oh, they're like the butterflies in my fucking storybooks, and her eyes just bulge out of her head. Like, the way Laura is role playing this character is top tier shit. It is so much fun. It is so enjoyable to watch. And I haven't even talked about like the character herself, the character of this little 9-year-old girl who has to live in the Age of Umbra and has to sort of maneuver with her, like, as she put it in the first time we met her pet Scrieve, and the two of them have to survive together with their sort of, you know, older human relation with their child relation. I don't want to say father because that's definitely not what it is, but I did say that before, but that's not the right wording. I love their relationship. It's so much fun and so playful, and he is so gentle with her, and she is just so appreciative of him. I just love that relationship. I think it's a lot of fun and really cool. I like how she's also sort of trying to interact with Brixton and Misty and all the other characters in the group. She is truly trying to ingratiate herself right away, which I think is really cool and really fun. The way that she's been able to do it. Like, she watched Brixton put like the ash on her face, and like, instead of saying that was a little weird, which would have been odd in her character, she's like, I like that. I like you, which was really cool and super in character. I like this character. On top of that, we've learned a good deal about her backstory, which seems incredibly sad, but we've also heard like a handful of like hints as to who she is, which I've, in my previous video I talked about. I believe she's a former noble or like higher social like person who lived in the Cinnabar Quarter, or at least her family were of that ilk until the Damask Queens sort of swept that family up. So for me, I like that there's like a little bit of hidden lore about this character that's been like slowly shown to us as we've gone through stuff with her, and she's only been in 2 episodes. That's the cool part. She's only been in 2 episodes. So I can't wait to learn more about this character. She's definitely going to stay in my number 1 because there is no way anyone's going to surpass this character. So much fun, so much energy in this gloomy world. She honestly, this character who looks like she would be a black hole of fun visually is actually just like the brightest star within the world. And I fucking love it. So there you have it, my official ranking of the Age of Umbra PCs. So I'm curious to know what you guys think of my list. I'm sure some people are going to move a handful of characters around. Something tells me August is going to get moved up quite a bit, and maybe even Scrieve. But I'm curious to know what you guys all think, and I want to hear what your lists are down in the comment section down below. And I will see you guys on Monday for whatever video I make next. Peace.